Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be flipping through my Hobonichi cousin and showing you my March pages, which includes the calendar index, monthly page, weekly pages, daily pages, and the extra back pages I had customized to track certain things in my life. This is how thick my planner has become. The band is still doing its job, holding it closed. For the calendar page, I've highlighted a few dates in March. And these were the family events that happened on those highlighted days. There were a lot of fun activities happening on St. Patrick's Day. More about that later when I flip through the daily pages. I still have some space remaining on these cards, so I won't start panicking just yet. But I did think about creating an extension page if I needed the added writing space. But we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. For the calendar index page or my habit tracker page, there are some things I'm consistent in, and that is tracking my dreams, marking my daughter's exercise, my mood, and my reading. I still haven't been exercising much. Occasionally I skip supper, and my weight did rise up again a bit. Coming to the monthly page where I plan out my YouTube channel and track my tasks for the channel and Instagram, I've been working on my videos like I planned. Sometimes I postpone it a bit, but I pretty much uploaded the videos I set out to do. And I'm really happy to see the number of subscribers and followers increase. I hope that continues for next month. Here it's blank because I will only write down the final numbers once March ends. Coming over to my weekly pages, I'm still using my stickers and washi tapes, except I've added more stickers. I'm using a lot of emoji stickers and also the full box stickers from Happy Planner, as I find that I don't use them in the daily pages, so why not here since I have plenty of white space. Oh, I have also added them on the 2025 monthly pages for February and March at least. It's similar to my first quote page that I have over here that was the month of December for 2023. So I'm doing the same thing here over time. When I find any full box sticker that I feel like placing down here, I'll just find these pages, fill them up, and then eventually I'll move to January as well. Here at the goals and resolution page, I had originally marked the same goals to work on, except I decided to work on planning and booking for my daughter's birthday party. I've got the day and date, and now it's just getting confirmations and buying the decorations and stuff. Moving on to the March daily pages. The currently page layout is still the same as February, and I've enjoyed logging in my daughter's happenings as well as my own. For the first day, I chose to draw R2-D2 because at that time I was recording the March setup video and I didn't want it to be a long one. R2-D2 has always been one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. I generated the image from Meta AI because I couldn't really see the details from the real photos. Here I wrote about my daughter's pinky. It was dry and the nail was dented, so I took a photo of it and sent it to the doctor. The doctor doesn't think it's anything to worry about, so thank goodness for that. I'm also rewatching Sabrina for a bit. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. My daughter is also going to do a little dance sequence in her Pinocchio play, so she's been practicing that. For this day, I drew Sabrina from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I followed the TV show poster of her holding an apple, and I think it turned out pretty good. May not look exactly like her, but it's still good. The stickers are from the Halloween sticker book from Happy Planner, and the color matches her blouse as well. Here I wrote about my husband's car stalling because the battery was dead. He called AAA to come over to replace it. Here I drew Bacon Boy from Roblox because it was the start of my craze for playing Roblox. The hair is made out of bacon. Don't ask me why, it just is. The game I was really into at the time was Find the Bacons. There are like 180 different types of Bacon Boy characters all over the map, and you're supposed to find them. What makes it fun is that you have to do certain things to get them. Some are pretty obvious, but for others, you need to get through obstacles or what they call an obby. And then for journaling, I was writing stuff about Roblox, and I was watching this video of someone writing notes on the book they're reading. The next day's drawing is still about Roblox. This time it's my character. When I was playing this game called Find the Tarts or Pop Tarts, I was looking for a similar game as Find the Bacons when I stumbled upon this one. The graphics were really great and the map it was fantastic. So I played it and was obsessed. So I drew a Pop-Tart beside it, and then I wrote about how my daughter wanted me to draw her Roblox character as well. And as promised, I drew her character with her favorite character Pop-Tart, the axolotl tart. She also chose all the stickers around here representing the food that she likes. I wrote about not sleeping well, my ex-colleague who was laid off got a job within a few weeks, and I finished playing Find the Tarts. For this day's entry, I drew Harry from Resident Alien, a drama sci-fi comedy. It's really entertaining. The stuff he says just makes you laugh. Here I wrote about the show, about St. Patrick's Day, and then my reluctance to go for my dentist appointment this month. Here I drew the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. I like the show and every now and then I'd rewatch it. If I have the patience and time, I'd draw 11, but I settled for the Demogorgon instead. Here I wrote about removing empty pages from the sticker books to see how much I've used. Not nearly enough, I think. And I wrote about Esri sharing 2 photos with her class. They were photos of herself and me and my husband as babies. Here I drew Geralt from The Witcher. It's not exactly Henry Cavill, but I think it came out pretty okay. I tried making him look rugged with black dots, and I think I almost achieved the look. One of these days I'll be rewatching The Witcher again for sure. Here I wrote about using ChatGPT to draft some of my cover letters, and then about my neck itching due to the harsh chemicals from my facial wash, and probably a combination of some things. Right now my neck feels fine, but the skin feels a little rough. The next day I drew the doll from Squid Game. I really enjoyed the first season, disturbing as it was. I can't wait for the next one. The stickers is to represent one of the games they played. I didn't have an umbrella or a triangle one, but I think it's enough. At least to me it is. Here I wrote about our visit to my brother-in-law's place and then going to a cat show. For this day, I decided to draw the sandworms from Dune with a few Freemen writing it. The second part is already out in the theaters. I love part 1, especially with Timothy and Zendaya in it. Zendaya? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. The older version of the movie was okay, but I really like this one. It has the right mood to it. Here I wrote mostly about the previous day's adventures. My husband bought a lot of cat mugs and a keychain for my daughter. Later that night we had all-you-can-eat hot pot dinner. The wait was ridiculously long, 2 hours. Luckily there was a Korean supermarket nearby. I bought a bun to share with my daughter as we waited. When it was finally our turn to sit, it was worth the wait, I suppose. Each person has their own mini pot to boil the ingredients, and you can order the meat and take some from a conveyor belt that's beside the table. So it's pretty fast. Eating is pretty fast, but waiting for our table was too long. They should do something about the waiting list. Here I tried to draw Aquaman starring Jason Momoa. I couldn't bring out the right colors when coloring, but I tried to make up for it by using metallic green stickers. I wrote about watching Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Amber Heard aside, I liked the movie, okay. I don't want to give out any spoilers, so suffice to say that I like some things about it, but it could have been better. And then I wrote about Visions of Flesh and Blood. Reading it was kind of tedious, and believe it or not, I did not finish her book. I returned it to the library when it was time to return it. And I had an afternoon nap and had a late lunch at 4 p.m. For this day, I decided to draw the characters from the book cover at first sight that I'm reading. It's by Olivia Dade, and I thought I'd give her book a try. I like how the main woman is a plus-size woman. There's not enough of those kind of romance around. Here I wrote about the book, how it's my turn to cook, and then about my planning for my daughter's birthday party. Here I chose the stickers first and placed them down, and then I drew Carmichael from the Umbrella Academy and thought it went really well with the colors of the stickers. I love this show. I've never read the comics before and thought this was some teenage superhero show, but the more I watched it, the more I loved it. Here I wrote about asking my daughter who she wanted to invite to her birthday party. I also started filing my taxes, been putting that off for quite a bit during that time. And then I saw this nice quote and wanted to remember it. You can start late, start over, lose it all, fail again and again, yet still succeed. Really nice quote. And then I wrote about not wanting to read finish Visions of Flesh and Blood. I picked and choose what to read, and then when it was time to return to the library, I just returned it. I didn't really care that I didn't read everything, because it's more or less like just recapping the story that had happened in the previous volume, so I felt like it was just a waste of time. Too much recap. There's nothing new, so sorry, Jennifer. For this day, I decided to draw Smeagol or Gollum. I have been wanting to draw something related to Lord of the Rings, and finally I decided Gollum should be the one because he was such a pitiful creature. I really wished he had a better ending. I decided to draw him when he was the happiest, so that's why there's some spring flowers and enjoy the sunshine quote over here. Here I wrote about how I was not feeling well, and then my Doris Taylor succulents are looking bad. Then I wrote about playing more finding type games in Roblox, and then how I have not spent on certain things in my life such as clothes, books, and then expenses on fuels have also greatly reduced because I'm staying at home most of the time. This day I wasn't feeling up to drawing anything special, and I couldn't think of anything because I was coming down with a cold, so I drew a sick chibi character that I generated from Meta AI. Here I wrote about how sick I was feeling and then my plans for the day. I also wrote about my dilemma with updating my resume and LinkedIn profile. I wasn't sure if I should explain my employment gaps, especially when now I'm unemployed for more than a year. I felt like could draw attention only to that fact, and recruiters or employers might penalize me for having that gap. I wish I knew what to do, but I guess I would have to just test it out. If nothing is working for quite some time, then I'll take it out again. I don't know. Because up to this point, my resumes, I've never explained my gaps, only during the interviews. So I don't know if putting those explanations on the resume and the LinkedIn profile from the beginning would actually reduce my chances. I just don't know anymore. The next day, I was still not feeling well. In fact, I had this sinus pressure whenever I sat down for too long. So I drew something simple again, a chibi character with a balloon head to represent how I felt at the time, and the stickers were of balloons. Here I wrote about my condition and then our plans for the day, which was walking in the parade, the festival. I also wrote about borrowing Leonard Ferguson's book, The Fake Mate, to give it a try after I received recommendations about it. For this day, I drew a drone to represent the drone show we saw the previous night at the festival. It was our first time watching such a show and it was worth sitting out in the cold for at least 15 minutes just to watch it. I used a bunch of clover leaves stickers or St. Patrick's Day related stickers that I could find as the decoration. Here I wrote more of what we did the previous day and how because of the many hours under the sun, my daughter got a little bit of heat exhaustion. So I gave her some fever pill, aloe vera lotion, and turned on the fan for her to keep her cool. Luckily, she was able to sleep it off and wake up in the morning feeling fine. I drew this girl modeling a cute jacket here because it's the very same jacket I bought for my daughter, and I have a story to tell behind it. So basically, one of the detachable ears were missing when I wanted to wash the jacket. My husband, who was out at the time, said it wasn't in his car, so I went back to the festival to look for it. Couldn't find it. Went home, I saw his car in the garage, so I checked it just to be sure, and it was in there. I'm a little miffed, but I was glad it was not lost, at least. So the journaling was more or less about that incident and a few other things like my health and my daughter flossing. Here I was thinking about Lock and Key and whether I should draw it for this day. Then I remember I had this big house sticker left over from the Halloween sticker book, and I knew I could make it work. The show had a big old house and it was perfect. I love the show, but if I was the person having to live in that house, I would choose to leave immediately. No way am I gonna live in a spooky house like that. Here I wrote about a strange dream that I had, then about the Chinese drama that I was interested in watching but I was reluctant to start. For this day, I decided to go ahead and draw a character from Wheel of Time show. This is supposed to be Daniel Henney, who played as Lan Mandragoran. I have read about 5 volumes of the series, but it was like many years ago. I never finished volume 5, and as much as I love the story, I did enjoy reading the books, but it was so long. I couldn't commit to it anymore. There are altogether 15 volumes, I think. Maybe one day I will pick it up again. I might have to read from the start, from volume 1, because I can't remember much. It's been so long. And then here I wrote about printing the invitations for my daughter's birthday party. I had originally designed them in 5x7 but printed it in a 4x6, and I didn't realize that it wouldn't shrink to fit and instead was cut off, so I had to redo them and then have them printed again. Luckily it was fairly cheap, like under $5 for 20 pieces. Then I wrote about learning and being productive and doing my taxes. For this one, I selected the stickers I wanted to use first, and then I decided on what I wanted to draw. It was already late in the night and I didn't want to spend too much time on drawing, so I went with a troll. Here I wrote about the Korean drama I'm almost done with, and then my daughter wanting to wear shorts these days, so as a result I have to be more diligent in applying the sunscreen on her. I started watching Physical 100 on Netflix, season 2. It's a really fun game show to watch where 100 contestants of different levels of fitness and background compete to win the final prize money. The display of physical endurance and mental determination is truly inspiring. For this day, I decided to draw Parasite the Grey, Korean live-action show on Netflix that's coming in April. I read the manga and I've watched the anime, and although this is not a direct adaptation to the manga or anime, I still want to watch it because the main character is a girl rather than the guy. It will be really cool to watch, I hope. Here I wrote about finishing up with my filing of my taxes, and then I saw the latest sneak peek preview of Bridgerton season 3, and then I talked about wanting to watch Parasite the Grey, really hoping that it will live up to my expectations, and then a little bit about Roblox, and then stuff about my daughter. For this one, this is based on the TV show poster for 3 Body Problem on Netflix. I was looking around for something to watch and I stumbled across this show. It was newly released and it seemed interesting based on the trailer, so I started watching it. As I researched a little bit more about this show, I discovered that it's based on a series of books by Liu Cixin, apparently a popular science fiction writer in China. This show is in English and I think set in London, but occasionally some scenes will be in China. I've not watched much of it yet during that time to form an opinion, but suffice to say I was intrigued by it. I've already finished watching it by now, of course, as I'm filming this, and I really hope season 2, if there's a season 2, would explain a lot more. Here I wrote about learning some courses, and then about watching 3 Body Problem, my daughter's spelling, and my daughter's last acting practice before the performance the next day. For this day, I drew a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. I believe this is the 2004 version. This was the show I had first watched after arriving in US many years ago. I remember feeling excited every time the opening song played. If it weren't for the ending of this show, the final finale, this would have been the best sci-fi show I've ever watched since Star Trek. Here I wrote about the family time we spent at the Sandbox VR playing Squid Game. It was really fun and I came up second out of our team of 6 people. Not bad if I say so myself. We had our dinner of burger and fries there, and we bought a cupcake through an ATM machine. Interesting, but it's just a simple slide open door and then you grab a cupcake when it's there. And then I introduced Devil's Plan show to my husband and my brother-in-law and they loved it. It's a game show where people strategize, cooperate or sabotage to get the final prize. My daughter's Pinocchio play was this day and she did an amazing job. She didn't forget any of her lines that she was worried about, and it was a wonderful play. Now for this one, how it came about, in my mind I was thinking everybody loves a hug, and what came to mind for me to draw was an alien face hugger. I was using a bunch of stickers that would sort of relate to it in a humorous way. Here I wrote about my daughter's play. So this is more of the recap of how she did during the performance, and this was just basically in the morning when I was journaling that my intention to drop her off early at the play. And then I talked about how the dove is attacking my plants again, and this time the ones on the tall rack on my balcony. There's no way to cage the rack, so I had to improvise and tie aluminium foil, hoping that would scare the dove away. After drawing Alien the previous day, I decided to draw Predator this time. I didn't really enjoy the Predator movies as much as I did the Alien movies, but it was fun to watch Predator versus Alien sometimes. And just like yesterday, I decided to choose stickers that would relate to the drawing in a funny way. I couldn't find one that said smile, but these worked as well. Here I wrote about my needing to do some gardening since there's so many issues with my plants, and then I finally submitted my tax filing. For today I decided to draw Transformers after having finally watched Transformers: The Rise of the Beast. It was supposed to be Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal following the movie poster, but there wasn't enough room, so I just made it with Optimus Prime here. The first movie was great, I feel. I remember the first time I heard Peter Cullen's voice in the cinema, everybody cheered loudly. The following movies after that had too much special effects and might have actually ruined the movies a little bit. I couldn't make out a lot of the transformations, so that was a little bit annoying. Here I wrote about having watched the Transformers movie, and then about having borrowed the Check and Mate book by Ellie Hazelwood. Can't wait to read it. But I have 2 other books to finish reading as well, so I'll make it work so that I can finish reading all of them before the due date. For this day, I decided to draw this because I had just started watching this Japanese drama on Netflix called Alice in Borderland. For the longest time, I had wondered about this show, and had I known what it was all about, I would have watched it a lot sooner. It kind of reminds me of Squid Game, where these people play dangerous games to win. If they don't play, they die. If they make the wrong move in the game, they die. The weird thing about their circumstance is that they are in a place that looks like Tokyo, but there aren't any other people living in it, just the gamers. So I had so many questions and how this all came about. I just had to continue watching this show. Now I'm at season 2, but I've not finished it yet, so we'll see. Here I wrote about having heard the news of the Baltimore Bridge collapsing after a shipping container had rammed into it. They said that they managed to stop the traffic from coming onto the bridge, but there were still workers on that bridge. I don't know why they could not get that alert to those workers, but maybe it was just in a span of minutes, so they had to prioritize the traffic rather than the workers. I don't know, but investigations are still ongoing, and I guess we'll have our answers later. But I think right now it's confirmed that there were no survivors for the people that fell into the water. It's just so sad. Anyway, I later wrote about Alice in Borderland and then about my job search update. And then for this day, I didn't know what to draw next, so I looked up a list of holidays that fall on this date, and one of them was Mermaid Day. I could have drawn Ariel, but I wanted to do something different, so I drew the male version instead. Here I wrote about my daughter's school open house. We visited her class and looked around her artwork. And then I wrote about how this day she gets to bring a board game to school because it's also Global Day of Play. Then I wrote about my job search situation, watching Alice in Borderland Season 2, and then about what course I should learn next since I'm almost done with the current one. For today's Hobonichi daily entry, I decided to finally draw Ryuk from Death Note. I had put it off because he kind of freaks me out a little bit with that smile and bulging eyeballs. But I love the anime, and he's a pretty memorable character just from the way he looks, and so he shall be on the page. The pencil stickers were just perfect, but if only I had the right notebook sticker. I didn't have enough space for the task because I drew him a little bit too big, so I covered the top part where the date is. But I know what the date is, no problem. Here I wrote about my daughter's video recording of the play she was in that was sent to us. The recording could have been better. And then I wrote about the job search situation with the recruiters I was dealing with. And then finally about ordering some books for my daughter through her class Scholastic Book Club. And finally, the last day of March, I decided to draw the characters on the cover of the book I'm reading, The Fake Maid by Lena Ferguson. I started reading it yesterday morning when I couldn't go back to sleep, and I really like it. I aim to finish reading it by today so that it can be the best book of the month. Here I wrote about my daughter and husband going for a swim yesterday while I was reading by the pool, and then about the book. The author has other books written, but they were not paranormal like this one, which is a shame, but I will still try reading them just to see how I like them. And then I wrote about my diet not going to plan because I kept binging on snacks, and my daughter possibly not joining this art competition organized by her art class. That's the end of the daily pages. Moving on, the back pages of the planner. This is my cleaning log. I didn't do much cleaning, mostly the bathrooms and toilets and sinks. This is my self-care log. Nothing much. I did a few things. And then this is just a plan and checklist for the birthday party I'm organizing. And here's a list of total number of job applications I made so far. I'm being very intentional about the jobs I apply to, so it's not just any job that I see. So that's why the numbers are so low. These days, I'm relying mostly on networking with the recruiters from the staffing agencies to help me get access to the hidden job market. At least through this channel, I don't have to apply through an ATS that would just write me off from consideration just because of my employment gaps or whatnot. Here is my subscriptions page. The only thing that changed was the Netflix plan that I'm on. It's cheaper now. I think basic is what they call it, but it contains ads. Then this is my period and health tracker. I was sick during this stretch as shown in green here. And then here is my list of favorite shows or movies watched that I rated highly. I added Alice in Borderland season 1 and 2 to the list. Next on my 100 page, I added 2 books to read. They are both by Lena Ferguson, and these are the release dates, so they are future book titles. Nothing updated on this spread. Next, the best book of the month. I wrote The Fake Maid, maybe a little prematurely since it's still March 31st and I've yet to finish the book, but I'm already halfway through, and seeing as to how I like it a lot, I don't see why I shouldn't just go ahead and write it on here. And then here is my sleep tracker on the 365 days checkoff sheet. It's mostly purple, which represents 6 hours of sleep, which also includes the interrupted sleep pattern. This weekend I didn't sleep too good because on the weekend my daughter usually comes over in the middle of the night to snuggle in bed with us, and I was also having my period, so it felt a little too warm, not enough room, and I kept getting up to go to the toilet. Not sure, but maybe I might take a nap today. We'll see. And that's that for the month of March. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, do give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my other videos, do subscribe and hit the notification bell. Drop me a comment as well. Tell me, how do you use your daily pages? I hope to hear from you, and with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!